Hey, everybody. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of time and set the mood prior to starting. You know how much I love my incense. I make these bitches too. Fresh and cheap. They're real good at cleansing. Hey, War Witch, baby. Hey, Bianca. I love your name, War Witch. Yes. Yes, I do make them. Go to my website, www.theafricanwitchbitch, African spelled with a K.com. I think it's $1 a pack or some shit like that. My shit is cheap on purpose. I'll explain that tonight. I love your name, War Witch. I'm lighting some sage right now. Before I start, I always light a sage so I can set the mood for positive energy. But you already know that a bitch can go there if she needs to go there. It's Q&A session. Yes. I don't know how long I can be, y'all. Last time we were on for almost 2 hours. So you guys, I guess we can get started. You guys go ahead and add your questions in the comment section. And if you want to be anonymous, hit up my email, info@theafricanwitchbitch.com. African spelled with a K. Hit up my email and I will answer whatever questions that you may have. I have my email up right here so I can answer any questions that y'all might have. So you guys go ahead and just start your question. Let's see. I'm glad I made it for this. Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad you're here too. Let's see. What are the best type of crystals for positive energy in your home? It all depends. What type of positive energy? Are you looking for love? Are you looking for positive energy in regards to, it just depends on what your number one main target is. For instance, I had a client hit me up and she wants positive energy because her husband is suffering from alcoholism. So she wants that negatively moved out and she wants positive energy moved in. I suggest amethyst stone. Work with that. Amethyst is excellent for sobriety or ending any type of addiction, whether it be food addiction, drug addiction, substance addiction, any type of addiction. It all just depends. I would need more information. Hi. What type of cleansing do you do to practice dark work? Okay, let's get something straight here, War Witch. Okay. And I planned on addressing this because somebody emailed me about this shit the other day. Being that we are in America or Western civilization, not necessarily America, anything that's considered black is considered bad, and white and light is considered good. Dark, black considered bad, white, light considered good. That's straight from the textbook of white supremacy. I don't believe in the concept of dark work or dark magic or black magic. I don't use those type of words and rhetoric. And if you guys ever email me with some shit with that in it, I will ignore your shit or I might cuss you out depending on how many glasses of wine I've had. Speaking of which, let me pour now. So it just depends on exactly what you're talking about. For instance, if it's like I'll give you an example, Warwick. Some people consider sour jars dark work or black magic. I don't. I consider sour jars protection. Because if somebody pissed you the fuck off to the point where you got to put their ass in a sour jar, it means that you're protecting yourself and you're getting revenge and retribution. I don't consider that dark. You have a right to protect yourself and you damn sure have a right to clap back when somebody clapped that funky ass shit towards you. So you're going to have to clarify what dark work is. Now, if you want protection, there's different ways you can protect yourself. You can cloak your spells. You can cleanse directly after doing. For instance, when I do the very few times that I have done a sour jar, I cleanse. And there's different ways that you can cleanse. For instance, on my website, I make my own Florida water. You can cleanse that way. I'm burning sage right now. I'm burning incense right now. You can frankincense and myrrh bomb the fuck out of your house. Meaning you take a charcoal disc and you light that bitch to activate it. You put that in a fireproof dish. You wait a few moments and let the charcoal turn a little bit gray, gets really good and active. And you sprinkle some myrrh or some frankincense or both on the disc, and you close all the windows in your house, let your house get good and smoke the fuck up, open up your windows and that negative energy, and you'll be cleansed. You'll feel a big ass difference. Frankincense and myrrh. Like I stated before, the ancient Egyptians swore by it because they used it to cure depression. If you ever feeling down and sad and low, baby, burn you some frankincense or some myrrh or both, and you will notice a big ass difference in your mood. And if you do it on a frequent basis, you will notice a big ass difference in your self-esteem if you're dealing with some depression. So Warwich, I'm going to go back through the comments. I want to make sure that I get everybody's question, but I want you to clarify what you mean by dark work, Warwich. I'm going to continue to answer your question, but I need you to give me more information on what exactly that means. Give me an example of the spell and I'll tell you exactly how I would cleanse. But it just depends. For instance, when I do a beef tongue spell, because I'm real good at that, the court case spells, I frankincense bomb the fuck out of my house. I sage bomb as well. And when I drop that bitch off in the cemetery or bury it in the cemetery, before I enter the gates of the cemetery, I leave an offering for the ancestors to thank them for allowing me in their space. I have candy or coins and I toss that at the gate. I Florida water the fuck out of myself, or rose water. It doesn't matter. You can use either or both if you want. When I go in, I do my work, bury my stuff, collect whatever it is I'm doing. And when I leave out the gate of the cemetery, I give more of an offering and I thank them for allowing me in their space. That's respect. That's protection too for me. And that's also a cleanse, so that you don't take no shit home with you and you don't walk up in somebody's house being disrespectful. I mean, we all know that, right? Okay. Let's see what else. I'm going to go back. Okay. Give me more information, Warwich. I haven't read all the comments. Hey, Tammy, baby. It's good to see you in here. Thank you for coming. Let's see. How did I get into hoodoo? Because I'm ready to start, but I don't know where to start. Excellent question. Mute connection, baby. How I got into it. Okay, let me give you my background in history. I wish I was one of those witches that was born in the shit, but I wasn't. My parents come from a Christian background. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. And I left Christianity because I felt like it was some old bullshit, but I felt the call and the tug, like the tug of hoodoo, the ancestors. Now, everybody that you know is not called to wake up. If you are feeling a tug towards a certain particular practice or lane, because hoodoo is my lane. It may not be your lane. It may be your lane. I don't know. I feel a tug on my third eye. That's what we call it. That means that they're waking you up and pulling you towards a specific practice. So the very first thing that you need to do if you feel that tug, especially in regards to African spirituality, I can't speak for other spiritual systems like Wicca or Centronella. I can't speak for that. I can speak for African spirituality. It's the cornerstone and the base of what we do is ancestor veneration. You start with your ancestors because the power to complete your spell work and to be called into your craft comes from them, and they are alive. I don't care what nobody say. Your ancestors are not dead. They simply transition to the ancestor realm, and they are very much alive in your veins, in your blood, in your DNA, because you have them inside you. So you need to start there by building a relationship with them. And you do that by pouring libation and you give offerings to them. And if you don't know how to do that, baby, go on my page and look at when I poured a libation to Queen Mother Harriet Tubman. I have it on there, and you can take that as a base to pour libation for your ancestors. You start there. And once you build in a relationship, you pour libation. Whenever you feel the need to, you will feel, and they will guide you exactly where you need to be. And that's how I learned. I started there and I went and I ascended. I'm at the point right now where I could be laying in my bed, just scratching my balls. I ain't doing nothing, just minding my own business, airing my nuts out. And I will feel the ancestors tell me, this is what you need to do, or this is what I want you to do. And I'll get up right out of my bed and do what they need me to do. So it all just depends, baby. That's where you start, is with your ancestors. And anybody tell you, and let me break something down else to you, mute connection, baby. If anybody tell you that you need to pay a lot of money, that you need to do this, that you need to buy all these expensive books and these expensive supplies, they're full of shit. They can kiss my ass and your ass too, because that's not true. When hoodoo was birthed out of American chattel slavery, Our ancestors who were in bondage, i.e., prisoners of war, i.e., slaves, whatever you want to call, I prefer prisoners of war. They didn't have books and expensive shit and money, and they didn't have that. They had only what they can gather from nature, and they had to practice in secret. So I'd be damned if somebody come up to me and tell me that I need to pay $400 for some spiritual work. Nah, you go tell that shit to somebody else. No, ma'am. Don't fall for it. And that brings me to another thing. Mute Connection and everybody else who's listening. On my comment section of my video, I've noticed that my videos are gaining notoriety and popularity. You see a bunch of motherfuckers coming on there talking about, somebody will ask a question about, how do you properly cleanse? Because I feel like somebody did something to me and I want to get back at them, or I want to do a reversal, some basic question like that. And you'll have this ignorant ass son of a bitch get on my page talking about, I had the same issue and I know this man who did excellent work for me. My wife left me and now they're back. And they'll put some bullshit ass phone number, a WhatsApp phone number from out of the country, out of America, which is a 234 area code, which is Nigeria. Baby, that's a scam. And every time I see that, I block them from my page because they're trying to scam people. And I don't play that shit. Not with me. You're not finna scam the people that are on here. They're here to learn and they're here to come into their power. They're not here to get their fucking money taken. So if you guys see that, don't fall for the okie doke, okay? All right, moving on. Let's see. Hexes, curses, etc. Oh, war witch. Now back to your question. How do you protect yourself? Now, I don't consider hexes and curses dark work. I consider that protection. If you have to hex somebody, it's because you're not just walking down the street, you see somebody wearing a blue dress. Ah, bitch, I'm gonna get you. No, you're doing it because something happened to cause you to go there. And you're doing it as a means to protect yourself or to get retribution for some shit that's happened, right? Am I right or am I wrong, war witch? Talk to me, baby. You can cloak your work or you can heavily cleanse after you do it. That's how you protect yourself. Okay, who's my favorite Orisha? Dianca Johnson. Okay, that's a hard one. My favorite Orisha, for all of you who do not know what the Orishas are, in Ifa tradition, which is a voodoo tradition in West Africa, started in West Africa, the Yoruba, the Nigeria. I'm Nigerian, so it starts in West Africa. They have different deities in the Ifa tradition. I am not initiated into Ifa, but I do honor the Orishas. My favorite Orisha would probably be a tie between Oshun and Yemoja. Those two. Those would be my favorites. Okay. Hoodoo Voodoo starter pack. What's included? Do you sell them? No, I do not sell starter packs. I do not sell starter packs, baby. I'm sorry. If you want to learn about hoodoo and voodoo, you just go through your ancestors, and if there's some work that you need to do, and you don't have the supplies, or you live in a hoodoo desert, you can hit up my website. And if you can see, the cheapest thing I have on there is 75 cents, and I think the most expensive is like $15. Like, my shit is hella cheap. And I do spell kits. Now, if that's what you're asking for, if you're asking for a spell kit, you need to email me directly and tell me specifically your situation. And then me and you will converse and we'll come to a price. But I know it's going to be no more. I haven't had a spell kit that I sold for no more than $45-50. Nothing more than that. And the cheapest, it was like maybe $5 or $6. So it all just depends on your situation and what you want to happen. So you would have to email me for that. Exactly. Our ancestors didn't have expensive tools to use. They only what they could gather. Yes, that's very true. Tammy, yep, because the bitch tried to block me. Not gonna happen. Thank you for blocking him. Yes, okay. Yeah, the scammers, that is true. You guys need to watch out for them. Okay, what's the difference between, Dianca says, what's the difference between paganism and hoodoo? Hoodoo is paganism. Paganism is defined as any practice that's outside of the 3 Abrahamic religions: Islam, Christianity, Judaism. If you are not Muslim, if you are not a Christian, or if you are not Jewish, and you practice any other spiritual system outside of that, that's considered paganism. Hoodoo is paganism, but hoodoo is under the umbrella of African spirituality. Another practice that would be under another umbrella would be Wicca. That's not under the umbrella of African spirituality, but it is a pagan practice. So During the Crusades, when Christianity was being forced across the world through colonization, Wiccans, witches were murdered, slaughtered. Yeah, they bashed them. They did them pretty bad. And also people who did any type of African spirituality, especially here in the United States. So if we could rewind back the time to like 1830 or 1820 or 1850, I'd be hanging right now, or I'd be burned at the stake, or my throat would be slit for even practicing. So I do take it as an honor that I'm allowed to practice in the open. And the only reason why I'm allowed to practice in the open is because I literally am standing on the shoulders of my ancestors. They went through, they suffered, they died, they were vilified and crucified and ostracized and mass murdered, just so I can have the honor and the privilege to even speak to you guys today. And the funny part about it is I'm getting emails from across the world of women, especially in Muslim countries, who want to practice, but they have to sneak and they need guidance. And if they're caught, they are either stoned to death now, or their throats are slit, or they're hung. And I take that very, very seriously. I think about that every day. They have to sneak because they don't have the luxury to practice in the open. So I hear a lot of witches, and I've seen this on YouTube, and I want you guys to hear me out. They'll sit up and say, somebody will say, well, I practice because my home doesn't permit it, or the people that I live with, whatever, whatnot, doesn't permit it. And they'll say something like, fuck what them people say, girl, you better come into your power and do you. First of all, bitch, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but I see a lot of witches who do that shit. Shut the fuck up. You're sitting in a fucking position of privilege. You can sit on your couch and talk to the fucking world about spell work and crystals and shit like that. And you ain't got to worry about nobody kicking your goddamn door down and dragging you by your neck out and hanging you from a tree. So how about you show some fucking consideration for these people out there who really can't practice in the open? I do. So, shit, I forgot the original question. Paganism. Yeah. So that hoodoo is a pagan practice. It is under the umbrella of paganism, but specifically under the umbrella of African spirituality. So yeah, just my uncle is doing an injustice to my mother. My ancestors are also his ancestors. Would they help? Very good question. Just Aline, or Aline. I hope I said your name right. Very good question. Yes, your ancestors are his ancestors, but you have to understand that we all have fucked up ancestors. We all have those ancestors who are pieces of shit and ancestors who are spiritually cultivated. Big difference. For instance, let's say your grandfather was a fuck boy, and he treated your grandmother like shit her whole fucking marriage, cheated on her, like a lot of our grandfathers did back in the day. Men had the power, right or wrong. Even in the Black community, men had the power. Women were mostly stay-at-home domestics, homemakers, and the husband was the breadwinner, so he got to treat her any kind of way. Motherfucker had families across town. You know what I'm saying? Whole families, and the wife couldn't do shit. Even if he came home and whooped her ass, where could she go? If she went to her mama would tell her to take her ass back home, right or wrong, right? Okay, so if he passes away, in African spirituality, we believe that these people have elevated to a higher level of consciousness. They're no longer the fuck boys and the assholes that they were in the physical realm. They've elevated, and they can intercede in your life in regards to good, in regards to doing things that are like good, like for protection or for prosperity or for moving shit in this realm from that realm. So if your grandfather, let's say, now I don't know your grandfather, baby. Let's say your other people, like your ancestors, are witnessing him doing this, I would petition them, because you might have some fucked up ancestors, but you have a whole line of people you never even met. You might have that aunt that passed away last year, but you also have fucking great grandmothers and great aunties or whatever that were born before you. That passed on and transitioned before you were born. So I would petition all their asses to fuck him up. What exactly is he doing to your mother? They're not going to support him abusing especially if your mom is elderly. Ooh, that is bad in African spirituality. Elders and children are reverend in African spirituality and in African culture. So I need specifics, Just the Line Baby. Tell me exactly what the fuck he's doing to her. Okay, or how do you overcome the fear of magic backfiring on you? Oh, you need to. Oh, War Witch. How do you overcome the fear of magic being backfired on you? Very easy, baby. First of all, you realize you have to sit down and weigh yourself. If you're doing some petty ass shit, like I have anonymous emails I'm finna read in a minute. As soon as I answer like two more from the live chat, I'm gonna go to the anonymous emails. You need to understand that your work, okay, you have to ask yourself and your ancestors if this work is going to be supported. Example, let's say Dianca pissed me off, okay? And she came in my house and stole 50 cents. And I want to put her in a jar and fuck her whole world up and have her lose her job and have her crash her, all this shit because she stole 50 cents off my dresser. The ancestors not gonna support that shit because it's petty as fuck. Like seriously, bitch, like 50 cents, like you really giving your feelings. You want this girl to lose her job, her car, her whole life fucked up over 50 cents. You have to understand that when you're putting in work with somebody, you, in my opinion, because the reason why I call myself an ethical witch is because I have to weigh that shit out and see if the shit will be supported. And if it's not supported, my ancestors fucking tell me that shit. I feel it inside me. I feel the energy inside me. And they'll be like, no, bitch. Or they'll be like, yes. And my shit will go through and it'll prosper. So I don't have a fear of anything backfiring on me because number one, I'm well protected, and I'll talk about protection work in a minute. Number two, I practice ethically. I don't do petty ass shit because I know that this magic, this hoodoo, is like a firearm. You can be a responsible gun owner, or you can be an asshole and go shoot up a school or shoot up a fucking whatever. Okay, now if I have my weapon and you try to break into my motherfucking house to hurt me and my cats, bitch, I'm gonna blow your head off, right? That's me protecting myself with my tool, which liken hoodoo to a firearm. But if I just want to go out there and be a dumbass and shoot up the block, then no, I deserve every fucking thing coming to me. So in order for me to answer that question, baby, you are going to have to look within yourself and see exactly what it is you're doing and is it justified? And if it's justified, then you cleanse and you protect yourself and you do your work with confidence. But if you're having reservations, and you feel like something's going to come back on you and you're apprehensive, then that might be a reason why you either are not confident in your work because maybe you're not experienced, or B, the shit may not be supported by your ancestors. Okay. Let's see. Tammy. I'm going to go back up because the chat is going kind of fast. I want to make sure I get everybody. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, Tammy, you say you want to connect with your ancestors, but you don't know where to start to pray to them. You get lots of crystal stones. I have lots of crystal stones, sage, palo sticks, and I'm lost on what I need to be doing. Baby, all you need to talk to your ancestors, Tammy, is intent and a bottle of water. You don't need a bunch of shit to talk to your ancestors. You don't have to use water. You can use alcohol too. We use a lot of stuff when pouring libation. You can use wine too. All you need is intent. You don't, okay, a lot of people say you have to have an ancestor altar. No, you can have an ancestor altar, excuse me. It definitely helps, but you do not need one. If you don't have one, or if you live in a house where you can't construct one, baby, you get you a bottle of water and you go outside and take a walk in nature. And you sit by a tree or by a plant or by a bush and you pour 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Tap the ground 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You call on your cultivated and you call on whoever you, maybe you want to call on just your ancestors. You may not know their names, or maybe you want to call on a specific person. You call their names, pour out, and you have a conversation with them like I'm talking to you now. Don't be scared. Because in African spirituality, they are looking at you and watching you every single day, and they living through your blood in your veins. So there's no need to be scared or frightened. They're here, they're listening to you, and they can make stuff happen. You just got to build a relationship with them. Don't be scared. And you don't need a bunch of expensive shit to talk to them. Okay? Just show respect when you do. All right, let's see. How do you connect to them if you don't know their names? You call on your ancestor. All you say is ancestors. You don't have to know their names. It helps if you do, but if you don't, then you don't. Because here's the thing. They know your heart, and they know that you don't know their names. They know that the colonizers didn't keep records of our people that were taken. They took their names and gave them different. They know all of that. You don't need to have a bunch of expensive stuff. You don't need, it's not formalized like Christianity is, or like Islam is, or like Judaism is. This is all about intent. Your spell work and your relationship is birthed here and here. Okay. Let's see. I did a sour jaw in a fog. I did a sour jaw in a fog who keeps playing. Less than a week, he has been having bad luck. This time my ancestors were on me. Yeah. Apparently, Tony, if you did that sour jar in less than a week, that shit is popping. It means that motherfucker deserved it. I don't know what he did. I don't know you, baby. You can say it in the comment section. Apparently, he deserved it. And the work was supported by your ancestors. Ashe. Okay. No, a sour jar. I've never even heard of a regret jar, honey. Sour jar is when you want to fuck somebody's world up because they did some shit to you, or you trying to protect yourself against some shit they might be doing or gonna do. Oh, not fog. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still reading down the comments. And my apologies, Tammy. Yeah, but it's not. I don't think anybody should regret it because it takes a lot of contemplation. You don't just willy-nilly style throw somebody in a jar. You sit down, you meditate, you contemplate, and you think. I had this one bitch got me for a lot of money in an insurance scam. This bitch that I knew, that I considered a friend. It took me a year of meditation and contemplating before I put her ass in a jar. And I did that shit and I buried her in the cemetery and I don't have no regrets because I know that work was supported and it is prospering too. So you just, if you don't know nothing else, remember that anytime you do any type of baneful work, or when you really pulling out that big dick energy spell like sour jars and shit like that, you need to make sure the motherfucker deserved it. That's not something you willy-nilly style with. You don't fuck around with that for real. I'm just saying. Let's see. Okay. Makeup with Shayna. She says, my issue is I do spell work and believe in God. Do the two mix? All right. Depends on how you define God. In African spirituality, we have supreme consciousness, which is considered God. It's not a male, it's not a female. If you're talking specifically about Christianity or Islam or Judaism, I'm going to go ahead and say it. And I know this is a debate in hoodoo that those let's say Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Islam, and hoodoo, i.e. Wicca, pagan work, does not match. You can't be Jewish and Nazi at the same time, in my opinion. This is my opinion. A lot of people may disagree. Y'all just feel free to voice if you disagree. And the reason why I say this is because the Bible, which I do not believe in, I'm just full disclosure. I know that a lot of people say that, and they use it in spell work, and they say it's a book of spells, especially Psalms and Proverbs is a book of spells. And I guess you can liken it to that. But that book was used, A, to oppress my people. There's scriptures in it that condone slavery, misogyny, infanticide, etc. And B, it says in there specifically, and I don't have the verse right now, but I'll get it for you, that do not suffer a witch to live. Now, the reason why a lot of people say that King James put that verse in the Bible, because he was heavily a practitioner in paganism. He was a Wiccan. He was a warlock, however you want to word it. Not in African spirituality, because he was a Caucasian. So no, he couldn't practice in African spirituality, but he did do spell work. He did write books on demonology and witchcraft. It's because either he was some sort of psychotic person or a fucking hypocrite or both. I don't know. But the Bible specifically gives instructions on how to kill us. And that scripture was used to slaughter a lot of witches, whether it be pagan witches from Wicca or whether it be African spiritualists like myself. So if you go into any church, anywhere, especially in the South where I'm from, and you tell them that you practice witchcraft, everybody's gonna back up off you and they ostracize you automatically, knee-jerk reaction. So I don't see how you can call yourself a Christian or a Muslim. And the same thing goes for Islam and Judaism as well. But yet you do spell work, because the whole purpose of Christianity is that you have to have faith and you have to believe in their deity, which is Jesus. And I personally don't see how the two can mix. I honestly don't. Maybe some people might disagree or agree. I don't know. But I personally don't. I left the church, and the practice that I do completely contradicts Christianity. For example, somebody fuck with me, I get them back. I hit them with the whammy babby hoodoo style. According to Christianity, you're supposed to forgive your enemies 7 times 70 or some shit. You're not supposed to do any type of revenge on anybody. So how the fuck can you call yourself a practitioner of hoodoo if you're doing a revenge spell or a reversal spell, which I consider protection as well, to send some shit back to somebody who sent it to you when your whole own Bible specifically tells you you're not supposed to do that? You guys tell me if you think I'm wrong. I don't know. So you would have to define to me, baby, what exactly God. Okay, mark up with Shania. You say I am a Christian. Yeah, I don't see how you can be both, in all honesty. I honestly don't see how the two would mix. But that's just my opinion. I created a sour jar I found from you rather than bury it in a cemetery like you advised. I kept it in a dark place. Can I continue to work? Okay. Shawnee B, I do not recommend you work a sour jar. That's a lot of negative energy in your house. My advice, baby, if you buried in a cemetery, but you can't get to a cemetery because you live too far away, they might have cameras. I don't want your ass catching a charge. B, go to the cemetery and throw it away. But if you can't get to a cemetery to even do that, C, do that work on a day that the trash man is running, and take that bitch out to your trash can on the side of the curb and put it in the trash can, because you need that away from your home. You don't work a sour jar. A lot of people disagree and they say you got to shake it up every now and then, or you got to light a candle. I don't work sour jars. That's just me. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Or last but not least, you can toss it in a body of water at the beach, in a lake, in a river, etc. And as it's flowing with the current, it'll shake up on its own. As it's in the trash, it'll shake up on its own. If it's inside the ground, buried in a cemetery, then it'll do its work on its own. I would never, ever, ever keep no fucking sour jar in my house after I make it. That's just me, though. So I don't know, baby. You have to figure that out. For instance, Shawnee, here's a question for you. After you had kept that shit in your house, do you feel some kind of way? Is there negative energy in your home? Are your people in your house fighting? Are your cats pissed off? Like, tell me, because you're harboring a fucking jar with a lot of negativity in it. Like, for instance, would you keep a bag of dog shit in your closet? A big ass bag of dog shit. It stink. It's nasty. It's dirty as fuck. Would you keep that shit underneath the sink in your cabinet or whatever? Or would you get that shit far the fuck away from you? You know what I mean? That's how I see it. But again, it's up to you. So I am going to read from the anonymous, because I've read you guys' comments. Hold still with the chat. I'm coming back. I promise I'm not going to forget anybody. I'm going to read from the comments. All right. Hello there. I have a question regarding your live. I would like to be anonymous. I have an elder sibling who is really toxic, and she has been manipulating my parents and turning them against me. Whenever I move ahead in life, she pulls me down, and I experience non-epileptic seizures, and have gone on to explain to my parents that it's disrespectful on her part to put me down in front of people. She is successful in her life, but whenever she is around me, she drains me drastically. My parents don't seem to question her. I can see through her BS, and I know her manipulative side. She has managed to portray herself as a fair individual and nevertheless try to focus on my life and doing things. She and her husband barged into my room on July 6, 2019 and hit me just because I closed my door. I appreciate privacy. I love peace. I don't like meddling into anyone's business. I know her secrets, but I've kept her secrets safe. I've confronted her and told her to talk to me nicely, or simply do not talk to me at all. I know what sort of manipulation she's using, but my parents seem to be ignorant and blind. I do not know what to do. I was suicidal recently, but I've gathered strength to fight and deal with everyday problem. I need help. If you could give me guidance. I would like to be kept anonymous. Okay, anonymous number 1. If you are dealing with somebody coming in your house and slapping the shit out of you, the first question I have is how old you are. Because if you're a teenager, it will be my response would be different than if you're an adult. And the second question I have is, if you were an adult, why are you living there? Why are you still there in this house with such negative and toxic energy? It seems like your sister is extremely manipulative. And if you're having seizures every time she come around, that sounds like trauma, or it could be a medical condition. I don't know, because you didn't say. Or it could be she's full of really negative energy and you're responding to her negativity. My first thing for you is to separate yourself from the situation. You should not be there. You should go far away from this bitch if this is how she is, especially if her and her husband coming in and socking you up. I would not suggest you putting your sister and her husband inside. Your sister and her husband inside a jar if you guys live in the same house, because any type of negativity will hit your whole home. That's the whole purpose of a sour jar, to fuck a person's life up. And if you're residing in the same dwelling as they are, that shit can hit you. But what I would need you to know is, A, your financial situation. B, why are you living at home? C, your age. Do you see if any of what I'm about to ask you fit? I need more information. So if you can email me that before I get off live, then I can better answer you. I'm going to wait. I have your name here. I'm not going to say it unless you give me permission, but I'm going to need you to send me another email to let me know more information, because right now you're telling me that you're staying home with them, but you're not telling me why you're staying home. Because, example, if you're staying at home because you're dealing with money issues and you don't have the money to move, bitch, I got you. We can do money work. We can do prosperity work to help you get the money to move. If you're staying at home because you just don't want to leave, I got you there too. This other, I just need more information in order to help you. But the second you leave that house, and then again, I wouldn't do a sour jar, especially if your parents are in the same house with her for the same reason that I stated. But I need you to give me more information. Anonymous one. Okay, back to the comments. I have a cemetery close and wooded area. Would that be okay to bury? Yes, Shawnee B, you can bury it there. Yes, you can bury it in the woods too. Absolutely. Okay, thank you. I felt so bad. I care about him. Let's see. All right, Chantrell Proctor, you say, what can I do if I want my landlord to give me more time? The house is not livable and I'm trying to relocate to a better without risking my kids' homelessness. He's always fucking with me. I would sweeten his ass. If it were me, I would sweeten his ass. Your landlords can be such assholes. But me, I would sweeten him. I do a sweetening spell on him. And I'll put a lot of instant coffee in the spell, because instant coffee is fast. If you're dealing with a time issue, which what it looks like to me, you need more time and you want him to be sweet with you quickly so that he doesn't put you and your babies out, I would do sweetening work with him. That's what I would do. Go to my page, look at my sweetening jar. But one of the ingredients, you, in this particular spell, Chantrell, you add more coffee than I did in the one I did in the video. More instant coffee, instant, okay? Let's see. Okay, going down. Hi, TJ. Very good, Warwick. You're absolutely right. You can bury it in a dumpster or in a filthy place. Yeah. Throw it in a trash can. It's garbage. You put that person in a jar because they're fucking garbage. And what they did to you to cause you to put them in the jar was fucked up. So you're throwing it all in the trash. So you want all the filth, all the dirt, all the nastiness to get on them in their life. When I do a sour, a lot of people said, well, no, don't throw the jar away. Don't bury it because you might want to dig it up. Nah, when I put you in a jar, it means that I have exhausted all other options and I'm done. I'm done. Cut it. I'm done. I'm not going back, because you had every opportunity to make it right prior to me putting your ass in that motherfucker and you chose not to. So I'm not going to give more of a fuck about you than you gave about me. That's how I feel. Okay. Do I think that drinking coffee helps with spirituality, or does it hurt? I read somewhere that it does and was told to switch to tea. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Amir. I haven't heard shit about drinking coffee. I do use ground coffee in spell work. I haven't heard shit about drinking it. I haven't heard that at all whatsoever. That's all new to me. So I don't know who told you that or where they got it from. But how do you feel That's the key question, because with this thing, your ancestors might have you do something completely different than my ancestors have me doing. So how do you feel about drinking coffee? When you do spell work, do you feel a boost? Do you feel like your shit is blocked? Do you have dreams about, are they speaking to you through dreams telling you? Do you hear voices telling you don't drink coffee? Because if you don't hear none of that or feel anything that I just described, don't listen to what other people say in regard of what you should and should not do in regards to shit like this, because this shit is all relative. There is no right. There is no 100% way to do shit. The way I do shit is the way I do shit. The way you do shit is the way you do shit. There's other witches out there that practice completely different than me. And that's okay. That, to each its own. I don't judge. I don't give a fuck enough to judge. But I'm just telling you how I do things from an ethical standpoint, because I believe I have been told, and definitely by my ancestors and through readings, that I have an obligation to practice a certain way. And that's to be as ethical as possible. But that's just me. But honey, I haven't heard anything about coffee. Nothing at all. Okay, my grandmother. Oh, just the line. You're back. You coming? Okay. Oh, so he's stealing from her. Your grandmother's probably pissed the fuck off. She's probably mad as hell that your uncle is doing this, and I hear shit like this a lot. Oof. That's sad to do that to her, because if her last things that she wanted prior to her transitioning is to have shit done one way, and then people go off and do it another way due to selfishness, that person needs to feel. Oh, she's probably pissed. Wow. Just a line. Are you a practitioner? Do you practice hoodoo? And if you do you have a relationship? Have you poured libation to your grandmother? Answer that in the comments, baby. Can you do a love attraction spell? It depends on who, honey. Makeup with Shina, it depends. Shayna, makeup with Shayna, it depends. When you say love attraction spell, you talking about a specific person, or are you talking about in general, or are you talking about to yourself? Answer that in the comments and help me understand. Okay, the Bible says God gives us free will. How do they not believe we have free will to take matters in our own hands, like revenge? I don't know, because they have specific spells specific scriptures that say you are not allowed to do revenge. You're supposed to love your enemies and pray for those who use you. I believe that any book that tells me to love my enemy was created by my enemy. That's just me. If I'm sitting up getting my ass whooped and I'm getting beaten with the whip and I'm being raped and my parents and my kids have been slaughtered and I'm supposed to love you, I believe that was a tool, and that the Bible, and specifically that scripture, was a tool to make us docile as a people and not rise up against oppression. That's just me. Because if you have a whole generation and you have mentally conditioned a whole bunch of people not to fight back, that's the best victim to have, is the one that don't fight back. And that's exactly what they did collectively to the enslaved Africans, or the captive Africans here, is to teach us not to fight back. Christianity was a very powerful tool to help aid us in our captivity here in this country. So you're going to have to forgive me if I have zero respect for the whole narrative of Christianity, despite the fact that it's not even scientifically sound. It makes no sense, but I used to be a big Christian. I was actually in school to be an evangelist at one point. I know that Bible like the back of my damn hand. Oh, you want a prosperity spell? Oh, yes, baby, yes. That's prosperity spells are often graveyard. Prosperity spells are amazing because you deserve it. Period, point blank. You deserve prosperity. And I don't care what nobody tell you, you're worth it. So if you need some money, or there's different prosperity, so many different prosperity spells depending on your situation. So Tammy, baby, we've conversed before. I want you to hit me up in my inbox, in my email, and tell me specifically what you want, and I will guide you the way. And I wish you had told me that before I sent off because you ordered some stuff from me. I would have added some shit inside the box to help you if you had given me specifics. Speaking of which, anybody who orders from me from my website, www.theafricanwitchbitch.com, African spelled with a K, after you place your order, Hit up my email address and tell me specifically what you're going through, and a bitch will add some shit in that box free of charge just to help aid you in your situation. But I gotta know, you gotta communicate with me. Not after I ship the box off, because it's too late then. But prior to me shipping it off, while I'm packing up your order, I'll be like, oh, so she's ordering this. Because I emailed some other people. I'm like, wait, is this for prosperity? Yep, I got a new business. I said, bam, 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 bitch. Ashe. That's how I work. And if you see my shit is cheap as fuck, because I don't believe hoodoo should cost a lot. And a lot of the shit I sell at cost to me, I don't even make a profit. Vast majority. And once you see my prices, you'll see. Okay, graveyard dirt. How do you use it? Okay, a lot of people are asking me about graveyard dirt. First of all, before you even do shit in regards to the graveyard, pay the fuck attention to what I'm about to say. You have to be respectful as fuck when you're taking graveyard dirt. If you come up in there disrespectful, them fucking spirits are gonna fuck you up, and you gonna deserve it. Especially the death loas. For the people who do not know, Haitian voodoo fucks with the death loas. These are the people who are the keepers of the cemetery. Specifically, Baron Samedi and Maman Brigitte. They are the ones who overwatch the graves and keeper of the cemeteries. So once you're going into the cemetery, first and foremost, before you even do it, this is what you do. I'm going to guide you to get graveyard dirt, and I'm going to guide you to use graveyard dirt. When I go to the graveyard, I cover my head. I always have my head covered, always, okay? If I'm going to a funeral, I'm always dressed in white. African tradition. But if I'm not going to a funeral, let's say I'm just going to either collect or get there, I always have my head covered some kind of way. When I'm at, like I stated before, when I'm at the gate, I stop my car, I get out, and I throw out some pennies or candy. And I say, thank you for allowing me in your space. And I put Florida water on me, all over me. I go inside. As I'm walking through the graveyard, depending on what I'm doing there, I do different works in the graveyard. There's a lot of power in graveyards. I know a lot of people don't live near them and can't get to them, and I get that. But going into a graveyard is like going into somebody's house. You show fucking respect. You don't go up in there disrespectful, acting entitled, because you could get yourself fucked up if you do. I go to whatever grave that I'm at, and I have my little canister, bar, bag, jar, whatever it is I'm using to collect the dirt. And I have my little, digging tool. Before I do anything, I sit at the grave and I call out the ancestor's name that's buried there. And I say, I would like to, take some graveyard, whatever it is you say that's on your, what's on your heart. You tell them what you're doing. You take your dirt and you put it inside your little canister, whatever, and then you add some pennies. You add some pennies, coins, whatever. You add some candy. You add some food. Maybe you have some bread, some cake. You leave it there. You don't take shit from people and don't give nothing in return. You do that, and I guess you collect as much as you need. You don't overly hoard the shit. You take what you need at the time. And if it's a little jar, a little bag, whatever, you take it. You don't carry 2 big ass fucking trash bags full of graveyard dirt. No, you don't do that. You don't be disrespectful. Collect that shit. You get in your car. And as you're leaving the cemetery, you douse yourself with rose water, Florida water, whatever. And you leave pennies and you say, thank you, ancestors, for allowing me in your space. And then you drive out. You don't speed through the graveyard. Bumping music. You don't do that stupid ass shit. You fucking show respect. At least I do. So now that you have the graveyard dirt, it is a spell booster, depending on the work you do. If you are, Dianca, you have to give me specifics on exactly what type of work, and I can tell you. For instance, I sell hot foot powder. And also one more thing I forgot to tell y'all. It also depends on the grave you're going to. If you're going to the grave of a child, it's different than if you're going to a grave for a person who was killed violently. And if you're just going to a random person's grave, like an elderly person, it's different energies for different graves. So it all depends on the type of work you're doing, what type of dirt that you're collecting. But bottom line is, fucking be respectful when you're there. Secondly, once you have the dirt, depending on the spell you're doing, it is a spell booster. I make my own money spice. I make my own hot foot powder. I use when I'm making my money spice, I use bank dirt from a bank, and I'll explain how you collect that in a minute. But when I make my hot foot powder, I use graveyard dirt. And you just got to be careful, and you got to be respectful. So how you use it depends on the spell you're doing. I need more information, Dianca. How do I do a cleansing? Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I got everybody above you. Okay. Let me go up. I missed a lot of people. Let me go up. I want to make sure. Okay. Okay. Izetta Lopez says, how do I do a reconciliation spell? I separated from my husband of 24 years and 3 kids, and I still love him. Okay, Izetta, the first thing that I would advise you to do, I need information on how y'all broke up, but I'm going to give you a general, is I would do a truth spell and ask him. You may not even need a truth spell. If you guys have 24 years together, you might could just ask him, or maybe you even know this already, but without doing a spell. But ask him, does he still want to be with you? Does he want to reconcile with you? Because I don't believe that you should force anybody to be with you who don't want to be with you. I know a lot of that's a debate in hoodoo as well. Some people believe that you can go ahead and do spell work to make a man love you, or make him come back, or make a woman be with you. I consider that spiritual rape, because the person has to want to be with you. I don't believe in using spell work to manipulate a person's mind and forcing them to be with me when that's not what they want. I think that's wrong, because there's some guys out there that like me, because a bitch might look busted right now, but I'm kind of cute when I get dressed up. And they've told me, I'm going to do spell work to get you. That's fucked up, because first of all, that shit won't work. I'm too protected. Secondly, I don't want your ass. Don't do no fucking spell work. Next thing you know, I'm posting on social media and YouTube that I'm married, and this motherfucker's 5'1" with no teeth. First thing y'all gonna do is look at me like, bitch, what the fuck? Because that's not my type. If anybody know me personally, that shit ain't my type. So don't force nobody to be with you who don't want to be with you. Granted, I know it hurts. 24 years, that's a long ass time to be with one person. And I know you still love him. And y'all brought forth 3 ancestors together, i.e. 3 children, because we believe in African spirituality that the children are ancestors reborn. They're from the ancestor realm and they come back. So what I would advise you to do is find out if this is what he wants. And if he does want this, then you won't need spell work to bring him back. Or B, if he does not want it, do a love spell on yourself. Or a clean and cut spell so that you can not feel the way you do. I hate it that you're, suffering because you still love him. But at the end of the day, he has to want to be with you. He has to desire you just as much as you desire him. And that's pretty much the best answer I can give you. I can't advise you how to manipulate his mind using magic just so you guys can be together because that's what you want. Because that wouldn't be fair to him. I hope I answered your question, baby. Okay. Let's see. How much effect? Mute Connection says, how much effect does a sour jar have? And will it kill somebody? No. The sour jar spell is to fuck their life up, meaning everything that they have close to them, job, car, money, wife, kids, all will be fucking fucked up. Now, each sour jar, depending on how you construct it, and B, the life of the person works differently. For instance, if the bitch that stole your money from the church really, really valued her career and valued her hair and valued her car and her husband and her house, that shit's going to be hit. But if you have somebody over here who's your neighbor who slapped the shit out of your cat and you want to fuck her world up, that bitch may not give a fuck if she lose her job. She'll be fine. But she will give a fuck if she lose her hair and she get a bunch of pimples and shit on her face because she's vain as fucking. She's one of them social media bitches who love to post every 5 minutes because of her appearance or whatever. How the sour jar works all depends on the individual that's your target and what they value, because it's going to come for their jugular, and each person's jugular is different. You understand what I mean? I hope I answered your question. And no, it won't kill anybody. And this is why it won't. And this is the beauty of sour jars. Sour jars, it's more fun for me to watch your life crumble around you than for you to just die. Because when you die, you're going to the ancestor realm. But me watching you suffer and watching everything you love unfold and crumble around you, to me, is more fun. That's just my opinion. Some of you guys may disagree. Hope I answered your question. Okay. She says, I'm a beginner. Oh, I then scrolled up too far. Hold on. Oh, I'm a beginner in hoodoo and my grandmother loved me. Yeah. And that's who you need to go to, because she's going to give you the power to make shit happen and move. And her son, it's her son, right? She's going to whoop his ass. Yes, you guys have the same ancestors. And this goes to, oh, this is just the line. Yes, you guys have the same ancestors. Your grandmother is his mama, right? I'm thinking his mama. His mama is going to whoop his ass. All you got to do is petition her and talk to her and build a relationship with her. And she's going to fuck him up for not doing what she said. All you got to do is usher in the energy. And he deserves it too, by the way. He's doing your grandmother. Real talk. All bullshit aside. Okay, you said you want to do a love spell on not a specific person, just a new love interest. Yes, there is work you can do to bring forth just someone like a twin flame, not a specific person, but somebody who will treat you right. But okay, so in my opinion, baby, work with crystals. You can do candle magic, but I think crystals are more effective, or you can do them both. Rose quartz is a good one to carry. If you don't have rose quartz, I sell them hella cheap on my website, or you can find them anywhere. If you live in a hoodoo desert, go to my website. Rose quartz, you get you a rose quartz and you charge that bitch under a full moon, or put it in some moon water, rainwater. Charge the rainwater in a full moon, drop that crystal in that bitch. Or if you don't have the water, bitch, get that crystal and charge that bitch under a full moon. Before you charge it, you sage that hoe. Put some sage, incense, smoke, Florida water, whatever it is, you charge that bitch. After you charge it, you take that same crystal and stick it under the right side of your bed or under your pillow, wherever you lay, and leave it there for 3 days. Carry that bitch with you. You'll notice the difference. Big time. You will. There's work you can do to bring somebody, but let me give you a warning. Bitch, let me tell you. Be careful and make sure that your bullshit goggles are detected, because this is what I've noticed. When people do work to bring forth that person or a person, any dude you see, you're going to think that's the one. So make sure your bullshit goggles are working so you can see and not be snowed at the fact that you did work and you think that the first guy that comes to you is the one that you should be with. Please, please, please be careful. That's the warning I'm going to give you, sweetheart. Let me see. I wish I would have known, but it's okay, by the way. Hello. Hi, Elaine. Hi, baby. I have rose water on my site. Yes, Tammy, I do. Very cheap. I think I can't remember how much I have it on there, but if you go to my website, you'll see it on there. I just added it, actually. I just perfected my recipe. Okay, so that means that my ancestors be visiting my house a lot because there'd be pennies. Yes, yes, yes. Your ancestors, the Loas, if you go through your house and that shit happens to me, I got, in Black culture, Latino culture, we get those big ass water jugs, those 5-gallon and drop penny. I find all kind of change around my house. Yes, that's them coming to you. Feed them, Tony. This is what you do. Cook a meal, or when you're about to eat, whatever it may be, you take a little bit aside before you touch the food and put it on a little saucer and leave it out for your ancestors, and then toss it before it gets too bad, just to feed them. You got to feed your ancestors. If you live in a house where you can't leave out food or have an altar, when you're walking through the park or through the neighborhood and you're pouring libation and talking to them, leave some food out for them and walk away. Yeah, they're there. They're around you. Okay. Thank you, Just a Line. Thank you, baby. Woo! I love The Chuds. I think that I said your name right. What is the strongest hex that you will give out in public? I'm dealing with sex offenders. Baby. I gotta be careful how I say this, okay? In my opinion, and I hope this video don't get flagged, but YouTube probably gonna flag me, but I have to be real with y'all because I promise you that's the only way I know how to be. In my opinion, the only thing that can cure pedophilia is death. I'm just being honest. And let me tell you why I say that. Because we believe that when a baby comes forth, like I stated before, they are ancestors reborn. I am an African. You ever heard that term, it takes a village to raise a child? Because once I give birth, that kid does no longer belongs to me. It belongs to the village. That means that it's my job, your job, and every ashe, I feel it. I feel the ashe. I swear I do. When I started talking about that, oh gosh, that means that when I give birth to a child, the child belongs to the village. That means that it's my job, your job, and every other adult's job in this room and across the globe to look out for that child and to protect it and to save her or him, to raise them, to correct them, etc. Okay, it's not just my child belongs only to me. That is a European construct. It used to be back in the day that in our community, Latino, Black communities, your kid is running around the neighborhood. You got 15 houses on the block. All 15 of them parents is looking out for your child. And if your child is doing something wrong, they'll correct your child. And then the next parent will. And by the time your child get home, your child done been corrected 4-5 times. And then when you get home, you correct that child because the entire neighborhood looked out for that kid. And the reason why is because when that kid grows up, and when I'm in my elderhood, that kid is going to have to look out for me. So it's my obligation to protect that child and to care for that child out of love. That is an Africanism. And that's why I'm a child protector. So if you take that and you liken it to a fucking pervert that hurts children, that see children as a sexual object, I don't believe that there should be a retribution. The only retribution for that type of person is death, in my opinion. So I'm not saying you go out and murder them yourself. No, I do not condone that. I do not condone you taking a knife or a gun and no. I do not condone that. But there is certain work that you can do. And I'm going to need you to email me. And that's all I can say. And I'm going to leave it at that. I cannot publicly say because when I put spells out there, there's people out there that are very reckless with their spell work. And I don't need that coming. I have to do what my ancestors tell me to do. So I can't publicly state exactly what, but what I'm going to say to you is I need you, I love the Chuds, to email me. I'm respectfully asking you to email me so we can have a dialogue. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay. Ooh, Nicole Trillet. I hope I said your name right, baby. How do I get a man to leave me alone? It is an obsession. Oh, gosh, I know. I've been there. Hot foot powder if he lives near you. He'll run the fuck away from you. But if you can't get him to walk on the power, there's candle magic you can do with his name and a petition paper. You get a candle, a black candle, chime candle, or a taper candle, and you dress that bitch in some hot foot powder. And you first you put commanding oil on it. Okay, commanding oil, and you push as you're holding the candle. Let's say this is the candle, and you're doing the commanding oil this way, away from you. You dress the candle in hot foot powder, and you get a petition paper, and you write his name 3 times. You turn the paper counterclockwise, and you write "Leave me the fuck alone" or "Leave me alone." And then you turn the paper counterclockwise again, and then you write your name. You fold that bitch away from you once, turn it counterclockwise, fold that bitch away from you again, turn it counterclockwise, you fold that bitch away from you again. You put it underneath the candle, you light that bitch, you put your intent in it. The second that candle is done and the wax is melted down, you take the remains and you fucking flush that shit down the toilet. That's how you get rid of him. I'm sorry you're going through that. I've been there. That shit is effective. I should do that spell so I can teach y'all. I know I was speaking a lot. My voice is going in and out, y'all. I'm trying. I've been on this live over an hour. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself. Okay. There's a narcissist. I've tried putting a sour jar on, but he deserves it. Took 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, it feels good because you're getting revenge and you're getting retribution. You said the motherfucker deserved it, right? And this is for Shanda Chance. You said he deserves it. So when your spell works manifest and you see that it's doing well, yeah, it does feel good, don't it? That means that your work was supported by your ancestors. That's what that means. That feeling you get, that means it was supported. Congratulations, sweetheart. Okay. Let me see. Thank you, Cupcakes, baby. It's good to see you again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, let me go back to the emails. I have another anonymous. Okay. This is anonymous too. I need advice and guidance on the best breakup spell to separate my daughter and her controlling boyfriend and destruction spell on this man. My daughter is 22 years old and dated a 31-year-old coworker, senior staff in her department. He used to be her mentor, and now she is intern, and she interned at her employer. Okay, I believe he's convinced her to move out of our home on November 2019. She packed up her clothes, computer, and just walked out of her family while we were at work. Okay, my daughter is really afraid of him, and he's very good at manipulating her. She is very disrespectful to us as her parents, and we do not discourage her from seeing him. We just ask that they both keep a low profile a while until she can find another job or in a different company to transfer to a different department. Our request is to protect our daughter and not to be called as the office whore. She is living with him and his parents and pays him rent. And since she moved out, she spent a lot of money on this man and hemorrhaging her saving. Her average monthly credit card bills is $1,200 a month. She comes by daily when her busy schedule allows for a brief visit. As soon as she will need to apply for student loans to pay help for her master's degree program. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate these parents. I know they are anonymous too. They want to protect their daughter. They want to protect their baby from, it looks like this dude is a mind manipulating asshole. Okay, so let me start from the beginning, anonymous too. I hate this dude. And let me tell you why. He is 31 years old messing with a 21-year-old. Why is he choosing a 21-year-old? Because 21-year-olds make reckless decisions. She's a young adult, barely out of her teens, making a reckless decision. We've all been there. If you are in this live right now and you're going to sit up and look me in my damn face, in my 4 eyes, and tell me that when you was 21, if you're over 21 and you didn't do no dumb shit, bitch, bye. We all did, okay? 21-year-olds do not have the brain capacity from a scientific perspective for long-term thinking, okay? This part of the brain, the occipital lobe, is not fully developed until she's about 25, 26, 23, around that age. This motherfucker knows that. That's why he's going and dating her young ass, because he know that if he get with a woman that's 31, 32, 35, 29, they're not going to be snowed with the bullshit. This motherfucker's living with his mama at 31. No disrespect to anybody living with their parents. But if he's going to be like, look, motherfucker, look, let me tell you. If you're an asshole, you need to pick your struggle. You can't be a broke asshole sponging off your parents and a 21-year-old girl and an asshole at the same time. You got to pick. If you're going to be an asshole who's sponging off your parents, motherfucker, you need to have your own shit. You got to pick your struggle. Asshole, bum. Asshole, bum. But this dude is both. So parents, I know this is frustrating for you. For you to spend 21 years raising your baby, and granted, you notice I didn't say 18, because in African spirituality, children, especially in my culture, I'm a Nigerian, 21 is still considered a small girl. She's in school still, master's degree. They raised the good one from the email that she wrote. She's just smelling herself. She's at that age. She's smelling herself and she calling herself grown and want to dip her toe into the waters of relationship. Parents are worried and they want to protect her. Mama and daddy, this is what I would do, anonymous too. I would do a breakup spell. Now, before you go there and inbox me, but Tiff, isn't that, but witch bitch, isn't that baneful magic? Isn't that dark work? No, motherfuckers, you judgmental assholes. It's protection work because they want to protect their baby from an emotional manipulator. If you, okay, I don't know, anonymous too, if you guys are practitioners or if you are experienced. But for the sake of this, I need you guys to please email me to let me know if you are, but I'm going to give you both. If you are practitioners, I need you to do a breakup spell for your daughter. If now that's just for them. If you are practitioners, you know, practitioners, you know exactly what that is, breakup spell. If you don't know what that is, this is what you do. Get you a breakup candle. You see this? I hope y'all can see this shit. Okay. Get you a breakup candle. Dress this bitch in African witch bitch commanding oil. I'll put some motherfucking commanding herbs in this hole. I'll get me a knife. I'll light that bitch on fire. I'll do the knife like this. And all the while, I'm cussing up a motherfucking storm. And I'll take that knife. I'll slice this bitch down to break them up. I'll slice this hole down the middle. I'll light each one of these bitches. First, I'll slice it down the middle after I heat the knife up. I'm turning them with their backs towards each other after they're sliced down the middle. And they're all dressed in commanding oil, African witch bitch commanding oil. And then I'm going to light both these bitches. I'm going to light them. And after this shit is done, and I'm sorry, excuse me, I'll put a petition paper underneath. And inside that petition paper, I'll write exactly what I want to happen exactly. And then after this is all melted and done, I'll flush that hoe down the fucking toilet. That's what I would do to break up your daughter and this asshole that she's with. And I wouldn't blame your daughter. I know your first instinct, because you guys did the right thing by not forbidding her to see him, because that wouldn't have done nothing but drive her ass right into his arms more. The first thing that I would do is to break them up, because I know you want your baby safe. And this shit can just go all bad from here. I honestly can't see no good coming out of it. Any grown-ass man worth his weight in used cat litter is not going to sit up and watch a 22-year-old girl deplete her savings on him. He wouldn't even feel comfortable accepting the money. I've been on dates with guys who didn't even want me to pay, let alone taking money. She's tricking money on him. Baby, she need to get the hell away from him. But here's the thing. She's not going to see it unless she has to open her eyes to see it. And this spell would be the one to open her eyes. She might go through his phone and see some shit. I guarantee you he messing with other girls. I guarantee you cannot tell me this motherfucker's not messing with other girls. And they're staying with his parents and she's paying them rent. They're all using her. And after she's away from him, I'd put his ass in a jar. That's what I would do. But I implore you to reaching out and having the gumption to even want to protect your baby. A lot of parents don't give a fuck. At least you care enough to do something to protect your child. And for that, I applaud you. I applaud you for real, for real. Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Are we done? Hold on. Oh, my allergies are killing me, y'all. Excuse me. Let me mute my phone. I don't want y'all hearing me blow my nose and sorry. All right. Bianca is full of questions tonight. She said, what books do you read, own for hoodoo or voodoo? I have a book that teachers taught me about crystals I owned a while ago, but a vast majority of the knowledge I have came like as a download from the ancestors, or I sit at the feet of older practitioners, much older than me, like yayos who were in their 60s and 70s. That's how I learned. I didn't learn from a book. I honestly don't think you can learn from a book. I guess there are some books out there that teach certain things, and I'm not knocking that, to each their own. I'm not knocking their gangster, but My ancestors didn't even know how to read. They couldn't even learn without being killed. So I didn't learn from a book. I learned by sitting at their feet, and then I got fucked up one time by the end. When I first started practicing, I did some shit that wasn't kosher. Ancestors fucked me up bad, taught me that way. I got my ass whooped by the ancestors. I went to the spirit. That's why I'm fucking with y'all about this cemetery shit. Trying to tell you that this shit ain't no joke. I went to the cemetery and I just walked up in there, got my little scooped up some dirt, got in my car and drove off. Bitch, I kid you not. I had like not even within maybe an hour or two, I got hit with the worst fucking vomiting and diarrhea, like pain. Plus I had a pounding ass headache, vomiting and diarrhea. So my big ass is sitting on the toilet with a fucking trash can, vomiting and shitting at the same time. And I felt dizzy as fuck. And I was down for 2 days. Went to sleep, had a dream that I just was, yeah. I don't recommend you fucking walk into a cemetery willy-nilly. I got my ass whooped that day. I'll never forget that shit. So I learned that way. I learned through trial and error, and I learned through wise ass fucking people who I sat at their feet and learned, and it cost me next to fucking nothing. They did not charge me an arm and a leg and all my coochie hair to learn. They didn't. And I don't, like I said, I don't appreciate y'all going and paying all this money and getting scammed. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on. Tell y'all something. The African witch bitch likes to cook. That's one of my pastimes. I love to fucking cook. I got a pot on the stove of some oxtails. And I'm gonna make that with some damn steamed rice and gravy, some greens and shit. But anyway, okay. I don't think I have any more questions in the chat. I'm going down the chat. What books? I already read that one. How long does a binding spell last? Depends. Explain to me, Sharon G, what you mean by binding spell. Are you talking about binding like a person to you? You have a target in mind. You take that person and you want to bind them to you? Clarify that for me, baby. Let me see. Hope I'm not missing anybody. Yeah, he is. You know what? The Tea Lounge, he is a narcissist. Yeah, absolutely. I've had my share with dealing with dudes like that. That's why when Anonymous 2 hit me up, that shit pissed me off. My blood was boiling for them because as parents, can you imagine sitting and watching your child walk down a dead end street, finna fall off a cliff, and there ain't shit you can do? So they did the right thing by reaching out so they can do some work to get rid of that. She needs to be separated from him. I love oxtails too, War Witch, for real. I don't know how to, Foxy. MVM Foxy, you have a question? Ask away, sweetheart. I'm only going to be on for a few more minutes, y'all. I've kept y'all long enough. How do you know a binding spell is working? But okay, so when you say you binded someone, like I said, honey, give me more information. You binded someone to you, or did someone bind you to them? Like, explain to me. I need more information. If you can't type it in the chat, hit my email. I'm a single mom of 2 and need a day shift position at work. What can I do to get my boss to give me a day shift position? Baby, yes. You can do a skull commanding spell, or you can do a sweetening jar. This is Dejeen. Hi, Dejeen. I remember you, honey. Hi. You can do a skull commanding spell. A skull commanding spell is when you get a skull candle. I need to do that one on my page. I should be writing this shit down. Y'all always giving me good ashe. You get a skull candle. Little bit skull candle. I sell them if you need them because they're hard to come by and they're expensive. Not with me though. You hollow out the bottom of the spell, get you like a knife or something, hollow out the bottom, and you stuff herbs and a petition paper inside of exactly what you want. And since it's for a job, I would use a green one for you, Dejeen, baby. And then you light that bitch and put your intent in it. Excuse me. And that's how you do a skull commanding, because what you want to do is you want to command the thoughts of your employer, to control and to sway them, to give you the to give you what you want at your job. So skull commanding spells, when it comes to prosperity work and shit of that nature, are very, very, very effective. Very effective. So Dasheen, if I were you, I would sweeten him. I would do a honey jar, and on the petition paper write exactly what you want, or I'll do a skull commanding. But you can also petition Saint Expedite. I haven't done that spell yet. I'll probably be the next one I do because I'm getting a lot of people. Have a date in mind that you're going to go ask. If you're going to petition Saint Expedite, have a date in mind. And maybe like a week before that date or a couple of days before the date that you're going to go and ask your supervisors or put in for the request, however your policy work, do a petition to Saint Expedite. A lot of people, now here's the thing about Saint, I'm a hoodoo practitioner. That's my lane, okay? African spirituality. I do not know how Saint Expedite got implemented into hoodoo. I don't know how that happened, but I fucks with Saint Expedite. I've worked with him and I've seen other people work with him and his shit be popping. So I suggest you work with Saint Expedite. That's my advice for you. Or sweeten that bitch. Put his ass in a honey jar, or her ass, whoever your supervisor is. How do I go about disposing protection spells remains? Toss them out in nature. War witch, toss them out in nature. Okay. Can a man unintentionally put a spell on you? I mean, I guess if the dick game is good, he can fuck your mind up that way. I don't know how anybody can unintentionally put a spell on anybody. Spell work is when you know what the fuck you're doing. The whole purpose of spell work is intent. You have to put your intent in that spell or else it won't pop. So how do you do a spell with no intent? It won't, nothing. You're wasting your resources, your time, and your ingredients, in my opinion. Oh, so okay. Mark up with Shayna. I think I'm missing shit because I'm doing so much. Somebody, who is it who said they wanted to bind? Let me go back up and read that shit. Oh, somebody did. Oh, binding Sharon. Okay. So basically you bound yourself to somebody and you realize that he's not the one. Is that it? Am I clear? You found out he's not the one. And so now you want to release him. I hope I'm saying it right. Baby, hit the chat if I'm right with that. Oh yeah. He's saying Expedite does work fat. Nope. I'm not vegan, baby. I eat oxtails. I'll suck the fuck out of an oxtail bone. I'm not vegan. I don't knock vegans. It's just not my lane. I'm from the South. We eat a lot of shit. And I'm not reckless with my health. As you can see my shape, you know, a bitch, you kind of got some curves and shit, but I do like meat. I do like, food. I love food. All right. She wants to bind and I want to unbind. Okay. I think hopefully I can answer y'all question because I don't know if I'm doing this shit right, but I'm going to go ahead and try my best. I don't do binding work. I don't believe in doing binding work because that shit can go bad as fuck. And let me tell you why. Remember how I already told you guys how I fucking feel about forcing somebody to be with you who don't want to be with you or whatever? All right. When you bind a motherfucker to you, there's a thin ass fucking thread line between binding and obsession. That shit can turn so quick. You might have the perfect intention. You and your husband are happy and y'all skipping lollygagging down the beach. That shit can turn to obsession quick. I wouldn't do that. If the motherfucker want to be with you, he'll be with you. Hell, put that good pussy on him. He ain't going nowhere. But when you bind somebody to you, that shit can sour the relationship. And that shit can create an obsession type of shit going on, which is dangerous, especially for women. Hell, for men too, there's some crazy bitches out there. So I wouldn't suggest, so if you are bound to somebody and you want to separate yourself, I suggest a cut and clean spell or a clean and clear, cut and clear. I think there's different ways they say it. They say cut and clear and they say cut and clean. It all just depends. Well, it's the same shit. Look up both of them, you'll see. And do that shit to separate yourself. And if you want to bind somebody to you, I suggest you don't. That's my advice. I suggest you don't do it. If the person want to be with you, they'll be with you. If they don't want to be with you, they won't be with you. And if you don't know, bitch, get a reading. I have a couple of people that read for me. I can hook you up with somebody who will read for you and tell you flat out point blank if the person is the one who, because it's not just one person you're supposed to be with. It's what, 7 billion motherfuckers on this planet. There's not no one specific person you're only allowed to be with for happiness. And if you can't be with that person, then your whole world is fucked up. Cut it. No, there's people you are compatible with and there's people you are not compatible with. And if you're looking for somebody who you'd be happy and compatible with, what I do is I get a reading. I'm not finna bind a motherfucker to me, because if you ever change your mind, because people grow and people change and fucking spells wear off, and that shit does happen. This is why I don't believe in love work. And if you really truly don't want to be with me, I don't need you in my house making me fucking miserable. I don't need you bringing bitches in my bed, because both of y'all asses will end up in a coffin box fucking with me with disrespect like that. I need you to go. I need you to feel comfortable walking away and leaving me if it's not what you want, if I'm not what you want. That's how I operate. Just like if you're not what I want, motherfucker, I will leave your ass in a minute. Do you hear me? So I strongly recommend you don't do a binding work. And if you are bound to somebody because they bound you or you bound them and you've changed your mind, that's why I don't believe in binding work. Do a cut and clean spell to get to release yourself from that person. And don't do that shit again, because the last thing you need is a motherfucking stalker. Last thing you need is this motherfucker to think he can't live without you and you really are miserable. And now you're stuck with this bitch and he want to end your life because you want to move on and find happiness elsewhere. That's my opinion, baby. I've heard man's semen can cause a cord connection to you. Is this a myth? Yes, in my opinion, it is. I've heard that too. Now, if you're doing sex magic, you can manifest some shit with semen and your yoni syrup. You damn sure can. I've done the shit. That shit is powerful as fuck. But I don't believe that sperm can cause a soul tie. I don't believe that sperm or yoni syrup can cause people to be connected. I will fuck you when I want to, or I'll not fuck you if I don't want to. And I can forget your ass 5 minutes after I bust. That's just me. Maybe with some people, it might be, maybe they do get a strong connection after they sleep with a person. I notice that shit, damn, like you give a dude some cooch and next thing you know, this motherfucker blowing your phone up, can't leave you alone and shit. Yes, I have magical pussy, but damn, you know what I mean? I don't know. But I personally don't believe in general that if you sleep with somebody, you're tied to them. I don't believe that. I don't subscribe to that belief. Okay, how can I get curves? I feel thick. I think I'm thick, but I'm not. Girl, it's all about your it's all about how you feel about yourself. Hell, you probably are thick. I'm 6 feet tall and I weigh 202 pounds. I got some curves. So just hell, eat some biscuits. I don't know a spell that make your ass thick. I haven't heard of that one. If y'all know it, bitch, send it to my email. Let's talk about it. Oh, we're on and off, and I think it's binding. Oh, okay. If you, I would do a cut and clear. Well, okay, you say you think, so that means that you didn't purposely bind him to you, right? You didn't purposely do it. So that means you don't know for sure. Yeah. Makeup with Shayna, baby, I would get a reading. I would. If I really felt like I was bound or I couldn't, like, okay, here's a question that I have for you, Shayna, baby. Is this a toxic relationship? If you're on, off, on, is it just he's in and out? You know, he come by, he hit it. Maybe you'll stop by his house, do a drive by and keep it pushing. Or is this some toxic ass shit? You know, hit up the chat and let me know if it's toxic. Let me see. Yes, you guys want to know my reader. I have a few. Depending on the type of reading that you want, I can hook you up. Email me. I'll hook you up. Okay. I have a couple, and when I say a couple, bitch, let me tell you. This is how I'm gonna prove to y'all motherfuckers that I'm real about what I say. My people that I go to are cost effective as fuck. They're not the type of readers that's going to charge you $100 and shit to fucking read for you. The reader that I have, I think the bitch charged like $20 or $15 or some shit. And she's accurate as fuck. And then I have another reader who does ancestor readings, pendulum readings, tarot. You have to hit me up and tell you what you want. What exactly do you want? And I can hook you up with the person that could help you. And they do their readings. You don't have to be in the same city. You don't have to be face to face. They do their readings over Messenger, over video, so that you can see the cards, the spread, and it goes from there. And yeah, I suggest you do it. If you guys need, I need you to hit up my email. Okay. I don't have a lottery spell, but I do have a money spell. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that might be on my off my page, but if it's not, I can definitely do a money spell. That shit popped for me when I was in Vegas last. Oh, that shit. I did it right before I went to Vegas. I need to drive my black ass back up to Vegas. It's toxic. Okay, yeah, you need to cut and clean, baby. Shayna, you need a cut and clean or a cut and clear. You need to do a cord cutting spell to get rid of him. And you can also do what I asked the other lady to do, is a hot foot on a black candle. I said that earlier. Do that shit. You want to be released, yeah. Hi, Disheen. Yeah, you made a mistake. Don't beat yourself up, Shayna. You made a mistake. You bound him to you. You thought you knew what you were doing. Your brain has developed since you were younger. You've matured in your craft and in your personality. And this is why I strongly believe, especially with the parents, is it Anonymous too? That when you're like 20 and 19 and 22, you don't know what the fuck you want. You're still a kid. Your brain isn't even fully developed yet. You might think you want this and that and whatever, and then you fucking grow up and now you 30 and you like, what the fuck was I thinking? So I should go back in time and whoop 21-year-old me's ass. If any of you guys have ever felt like you could go back in time and whoop the shit out of your younger self, please hit the chat, because I know I'm not the only one that wish I could go back in time and slap the shit out of me. That's because you're growing up and you're maturing, and you don't beat yourself up about that, Shayna. It happens. Okay. We all have grown and matured. So now that you know, you've learned, and you move on and you teach the next person. Okay. No problem, Dejeen. Yeah, I did. It was a thick green candle. Yeah, I have to go back and look. I'm not sure if that one was a specific, I know it was a prosperity spell, but I'm not sure exactly specifically. Hi from the Caribbean. So pretty. Love your name. You are more than welcome, Shayna, baby. You're more than welcome. Man, Nicole, tell me right now, I will beat my own ass. I stick my foot so far up in my ass. If I could go back to 21-year-old me, bitch. Really though. Yeah, baby. War Witch, you 21. Yeah. Think long and hard and make sure that it resonates. See, that right there at your age, it makes perfect sense on the question you asked earlier about making sure that it's the right thing to do. Don't do no love and binding work. Learn from your other sisters in the chat right now in the craft. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I got to finish cooking my food. I've been on here for an hour and a half. I hope you have enjoyed this live. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me check my emails really quickly before I go. Before this, the last thing I'm going to do is check my emails. Hold on one second, y'all. Excuse me. Okay. Okay, so you remember the parents, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to email you back for the parents. They don't have any experience in spell work, because remember I asked them one or the other. They just love their daughter and they want to keep her safe. So I'm going to hit up you guys. Thank you guys for joining, parents, and I'm going to hit you guys up, and please, you guys, visit my website, www.theafricanwitchbitch.com, African spelled with a K, or you can hit up my email. All of that is on the website. Talk to you soon. Ashe.